Should I do it? Should I do it? Here we go. I'll spare you this week, Cisco. I'm gonna spare you this week, at least for now.
Look, it's not lasting for long. I already know.
You
I was
you
thinking
don't
we
know
were
me
going to
very
start
well.
every pod like that.
No, not every pod. Look, I can't let you guys think you know me that well.
Ah.
Just when you think you might have me figured out, I'm gonna flip the script a little bit.
Yeah, all right. We'll see. We'll see how long that lasts. I know for you, it's like an itch that you have to scratch.
Anchor shot.
Yeah, there it is.
Oops, I didn't mean to do it. I didn't mean to do it that
Oh,
time.
okay.
I didn't mean to do it.
Yeah, like I said, you just couldn't help it. It's an itch you have to scratch.
I just didn't mean to do it. That's all. So why don't you like Rex? You know, first, what we need to know first off is tell us why you don't like Rex.
Anchor shot.
Please.
You want to know why I don't like Rex?
Yeah, I would love to know.
I will show you why I don't like Rex.
So it's a
Oh.
design thing. It's a design thing.
He's got
Look,
he's got
'Cause he's
not-
images.
look, it's not just a design thing.
You don't like his pants.
I'll say this. I'll say this. Let's
Is
see.
the accent?
Oh, is it the accent?
Look, do you see this guy?
You need me to
Do
pull this
you-
up for you? Here, hang
Do
on.
you
I'll
see
pull it
this
up.
guy? What is there to like about him? Not only is the design
Everything.
horrible. Look at
Dude, he's cool.
look at this is the
It
kind
looks
of
like
face.
Mecha Man.
This is the kind of face. All right, look. Excuse me? You said he looks like who?
Mecha Man. I said Mecha Man, not Mega Man. There's a difference.
All right. I'm
I think it's pretty cool.
Oh, I don't have authority right now.
I don't have authority right now.
I was gonna mute Jake. I logged into the wrong account. I don't have any authority.
You want me to mute him for you?
No, the moment has passed. Yeah, there's just nothing to like about him. Like, if you played the game, I actually saw a Twitter thread not too long ago of people talking about how misunderstood he was. Like, no, you just don't understand the character. Like, nah, bro. The character, he's just bad. He's just bad.
I don't know if I agree with that fully, to be honest.
You played like an hour of the game.
I've played like 10 hours of the game.
I don't know if I
Thank
believe
you very
that.
much.
I don't know if I believe that.
I'll look at my Switch right now. I'll tell you how many hours I have in Xenoblade 2.
Yeah, I don't think I believe you.
I'm
You
going
say
to
you
pull
got
up my
10
Switch right
hours.
now.
Wait, so Cisco, did you play all 3 Xenoblade games or just 2 and 3?
I've only played 1 and 2.
Oh, okay.
I have 3 is still in the plastic in the case, so I haven't even torn the plastic off.
How do I look at all my games? I haven't touched it in forever. Do I really got to load this game up?
Dang, you might have to.
This is determination right here. I'm going to go start the game up really quick.
So did you play 2 longer or 1?
I definitely put more hours into 2. I beat the entirety of the game.
Oh, so you actually
I've 60
tried
plus
to like
hours.
Xenoblade 2.
I genuinely gave it my best effort. And I suffered. I did nothing but suffer the entire time. It was pain.
Without love?
Without love. Pain.
Okay, all right. Maybe it wasn't 10, but it does say played for 5 hours or more.
All right. Well, happy medium. There we go. More than 2, but not 10.
not quite 10.
I knew
It's 5
you
hours
would
or
not-
more, though. It's
Not
5 hours
quite.
or more.
I knew you
It's
would not last. You would not last to 10.
5
knew it.
hours or more.
All right. So 5 to 9.
Yeah, it's probably about 9 hours.
Yeah. Okay. He's just
Probably
saying
about 9.
whatever. He's saying whatever he can say to give him as much credibility as possible. Look, I know you didn't make it past 6 hours in that game. I know that with my heart and soul.
I don't
You?
remember where exactly
You?
I was at. I don't remember where exactly I was at, but I was hoping for the game to actually get good. And it just stayed sucking the whole time.
Now, take however long you played the game and multiply that by 10. That's how long I played it with the same
Yeah,
expectation.
but you like bad games.
I like
That's
bad
why you.
games.
That's why you. Jake,
Oh,
you
here
do
we
too.
go.
That's why you both like Fire Emblem.
I walked
Sorry,
right into that.
I
I walked right into that.
I'm-
The moment I said I like bad games, then I was like,
was
oh
like-
my goodness, here it comes.
I was like, I think I know where this is going.
That's funny. That is funny.
yeah. So
No shade to Fire Emblem.
I
I'm
will
just
genuinely,
being an asshole.
I will genuinely give Xenoblade Chronicles 3 a try.
There's
Unless
no point.
some
What's the point of giving it a try? There's too many other things coming out.
Because
There's
I
no
bought
reason
it.
for you to ever.
Because
Because I
3 is
bought
better than 2.
Well, that's your problem.
So look, there's nothing good coming out until May. There's nothing good
What?
coming out until May.
Aren't
I
you?
still have
Don't you
time.
love Fire Emblem? That comes out like next week.
There's nothing good coming out until May.
What? Nothing good coming out till May.
All right, we need to save that discussion for later. But yeah, nothing good coming out until May. I will
Oh, boy.
probably give it a try either next month or the month after. I'll give it a genuine attempt.
Fire Emblem or Xenoblade 3?
Xenoblade. I'll give the
'Cause-
third game a try. I've tried the first game twice on its original release on the Wii and then on the Switch. And while I felt like the story was more engaging from what I played, the combat was even worse than the second game. So
Have you
I
played
think-
X?
No, I heard that game was the exact opposite, where the story is kind of meh, but the gameplay is really, really tight.
That's what I heard too.
But I don't feel like breaking out a Wii U or a Wii U
I-
emulator. So
I'm surprised they haven't ported that yet, to be honest.
everyone thought they were going to when the Switch first dropped, and they just didn't.
Yeah, I'm surprised they haven't ported Xenoblade Chronicles X.
But I guess there are a lot of games we're surprised they haven't ported yet, like Wind Waker and Twilight
How?
Princess.
How have they not ported Wind Waker and Twilight Princess yet?
I think they're allergic to money sometimes, dude. Sometimes it feels like all they want is money, and other times it's like, this is free. Why have you not done this yet?
It's
But-
just, and there was a good window for it to come out too, a couple of times.
Yeah.
Last year was one of them.
And When they, when,
This
they
all
is
did
of
the
that-
nothing,
unfortunate cycle of gaming.
when they did nothing for the Zelda anniversary, I think it was like the 35th or something. They did literally
Yeah.
nothing.
Nothing.
And then a few months later did nothing for the Metroid. Well, that's a different topic, but yeah, it's like, come on, guys. Really?
Yeah, I mean, and now with Tears of the Kingdom coming out soon, it's not coming out this year either.
Nope, it's too late.
It's man,
late.
it's a shame too because
They ported Skyward Sword first.
I really think-
Sword.
look, I really think Skyward Sword was supposed to tie in with Tears of the Kingdom. I really think they wanted to do that. I really think they wanted to tie in the sky mechanic stuff with Skyward Sword, and then months later or however when did Skyward Sword come out? Wasn't that like September of 2000 or
2021.
2021? Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Zelda was the Tears of the Kingdom was supposed to come out in 22, but it got
Yeah.
delayed. And so I think that kind of makes Skyward Sword look just kind of out of place without the other two games of Wind Waker and Twilight Princess. But really, I think they had some sort of plan going on. But for whatever reasons, they had to delay Tears of the Kingdom. It now kind of puts Skyward Sword in just a really weird position of when it came out. Just which also is I know we shouldn't branch into this already, but it's why I think we haven't seen the Prime trilogy yet or the remaster of Prime 1 because I
We
think
don't
they're
know
just
when
waiting
Prime 4 is coming out.
Prime 4 is coming out exactly.
Yeah.
Because I think if we see I'll say this, I put my money on what the hell noise did I just hear? Is there a ghost here? Sorry. If we get Prime Prime Remaster or the trilogy this year, I guarantee next year we will see Prime 4. Well, like, we'll get Prime 4 to play. Like, it's releasing in 2024. But
I could probably agree with that. I could probably agree with that. I'm pretty darn positive we'll at least see the game this year.
well, you think we'll see? Yeah, I kind of feel that too. Did you happen to see the latest Prime 4 news, sort of speculation?
I think I heard something about it, but I don't recall what it was.
So I think like last week, um, Retro posted job listings, and they were looking for someone. I forget what they were looking for. Maybe it was someone who could do like textures or something. I forget exactly what the position was. But they were looking for someone who has worked on AAA titles before with a budget of at least $10 million. And what people noticed is it didn't say for Prime 4, where most of their other job listings for the past 3-4 years have all listed Prime 4 as what they would specifically be working on. So it's making people believe that they have wrapped up most of the development for Prime 4 and they're moving on to their next big franchise or whatever they're going to be working on next.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it just doesn't say Prime 4 on it. Maybe it means nothing at all, but you know how people are. And
Yeah.
maybe it does mean Prime 4 is almost done being developed.
I think whether it is or isn't, I think it being textures is honestly a good sign regardless. Because like you do textures after everything else is done, for the most part. Like when the core gameplay is laid out, when the world is built, and the textures you just kind of go in and you fill in later. You get what I mean?
Is that how it works? Yeah, I get what you mean.
A lot of the time, the textures are the last thing that you worry about because it's like
I think I
why do
know
I need to
voice
worry about
acting like isn't that the end too?
voice acting is the end too? Yeah.
So like let's just say it is for Prime 4 and it is the textures that they're working on. The thing is they're hiring for it right now, which would mean, it's still a little ways before they would start doing that. And I don't know the order of what comes after that or anything like that, but if that's the case, I could still see it being a year out, which would line up with seeing a Prime remaster
Mm-hmm.
or a trilogy this year,
Yeah.
giving it just a right amount of time to be able to polish it. Talking Prime 4 now, enough time to polish Prime 4 and get it into a real nice state for when it comes out. It actually runs nice and smooth. None of that Pokemon garbage. And yeah, I wonder. I'm actually really curious how, whether it be a Prime remaster or Prime 4, how that's gonna do. Like how that's gonna perform. Like sales numbers.
Yeah, I think how many copies did Dread sell? Like 5 million or something?
No, it's not that high.
3 million?
It's about 3 million. No one can confirm for sure, but people have. I think the last Nintendo's numbers, it was really close to 3 million. That it's probably hit that by now. So
Yeah,
about 3
so
million.
I know Prime 4 will do at least that.
Yeah,
At least that easily.
Prime 4 will.
Which is
If
kind of
it's
a
on
crazy.
Switch.
Yeah.
I think if it's a next gen console and it's like a release title, I don't know. The install base isn't nearly going to be as big, and so I don't know if Prime 4 could hit 3 million on a brand as a launch title.
I don't know if it'll necessarily be a launch title, but I think that's going to be something that they release on both.
I would hope so.
I definitely see that something being on both, like how Breath of the Wild was.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So
But who knows?
yeah, Yeah, it's impossible to know right now. Um, I do definitely agree. I think that would be a very good timeline if they're working on textures now, just finishing up everything, like you said, adding that extra layer of polish that we know they're going to add on. Because I mean, look at all the other job listings they've had. They've been things that are absolutely insane.
Forever now.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like if they've had it in the lab for this long, they want it to look good, and then it gives us just enough time to see maybe a title drop, and then, like you said, you get the remasters or a remake, whatever. Let people sit with those. I also think it'll be a good trial period for people to test out the controls, because controls are also something that you can like tweak at the end. Not something you want to
Yeah.
establish at the end. That's a core game mechanic, but
Yeah.
small things you can tweak, like adding in quality of life features. You know what I
Definitely.
mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think
Because
that'll be good too.
something that Metroid, in every Metroid game that I've played, kind of needs an overhaul with is the map. I really hope that they give you a decent way of just maneuvering around the map and knowing kind of like where you are and what you're looking at. Because bro, this Prime map that I when I'm in like where is it? Is it like the Chozo Mines, I believe? Is that the one I'm thinking of? I forget where, but there's one
Mhm.
that's like there's like 3 layers to it. And sometimes I'm looking at it and I'm like, am I in layer 2 right now? Layer 3? And then I think I'm looking at something. Please, the map
I, the,
needs
the,
an overhaul.
the Metroid maps ain't going nowhere, bro. They ain't going nowhere.
Dreads was
Dread,
okay.
Dreads was okay. I guarantee you, it's not getting much better than that.
They need a dedicated person just making the map. Just someone making the map.
I hear you, but I don't think it's happening. Metroid maps have always been bad, and I think they're going to continue to be bad. Because it's like, how do you make a map for that style of game that's good, but without spoiling any of the
Do
secrets? You know what I mean?
do it like that's true. Well, I without spoiling the secrets, that's true. But I think if they did it more in a style of like how the Divine Beast maps were in Breath of the Wild, it could actually work out pretty well because it's sort of similar to what they did in Prime, and the Divine Beast maps.
Okay.
I think maybe making it a little. It's not so much where they need to. They just need to make it like like more distinguishable when you're looking at multiple levels. That's what I think.
That's fair.
But this would be a good time to work into this Nintendo Direct rumor that's been going around. And we might be able to actually see this Prime remaster there. I have a feeling that we're gonna see it very soon. Cause was it did you post it, Cisco? And I know Jake will know who I'm talking about when I say this, but I believe it was Centro Leaks
That
who
was me,
does the
yeah.
Pokemon stuff. And they, Jake, you could probably speak on this better than I can, but when they leak Pokemon stuff, they kind of like to give clues rather than just outright saying something. And was it like a week ago, a week and a half ago, where they said, "Are you primed and ready?"
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
Um,
much.
so
It's
yeah,
because
go ahead.
Central, I know Central. It was kind of like a weird surprise to me that Central actually leaked that because I thought like, oh man, they only do the Pokemon stuff. But when that came out, I was like, huh, they have to know something that we don't if they're leaking the actual like general Nintendo stuff instead of just Pokemon. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
but so Jake, does it usually does when they leak something or hint at something, doesn't it usually happen within a couple of weeks?
yeah, usually like Central usually has been very good about saying there some things are just rumors, something is fake or something like that. So if they're like the way they kind of worded it made me think, okay, there is something out there. Maybe it probably even Pokemon related. If Central Leaks is tweeting this, that there might be some kind of possibility here that there might be some kind of direct, maybe even a Pokemon direct too. So like, who knows? Like, it's
Well,
definitely something.
we get a Pokemon like direct or a presentation like every year, and is it February?
I think so. Yeah, usually like February. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, because that's where we saw Scarlet and Violet last year, right? That's when
Yep.
they first showed it off. And then
Yeah,
the year
yeah.
before it was Legends Arceus. So yeah, we're gonna get Pokemon stuff for sure soon. It's probably gonna be the DLC. What if dude the DLC is gonna be Pokemon Prime.
What?
It's gonna be Pokemon
3.
Prime. Pokemon Prime is gonna be the name of the DLC, and everyone's gonna be pissed.
What are you guys
First person
talking
point of
about?
view Pokemon.
Pokemon Prime.
Pokemon
Bro.
Prime.
You're gonna be Pikachu just shooting lightning bolts at everything.
I'm not saying it's gonna look like Metroid. I'm just saying that
I don't even know like what Pokemon hasn't done as far as like game genres at this point.
what do you mean?
Like I feel like even like if you include the spin-off games, I feel like they've done like every genre.
They need Pokemon Racing.
Did
They
they?
could do
I could have.
I'm saying they have not. Have they done Pokemon Racing?
I have. You know what? This is a genuine question. I have to look up now.
There's absolutely
Like,
no way.
I don't
There's
think
there's
it
no way.
exists. But knowing the Pokemon
should.
company,
It should exist.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Dude, wasn't
what?
it like last year where someone did Pokemon in first person and they gave someone a gun and they were like
Yes.
shooting a Kangaskhan
Yes.
or something?
Yes.
That was cool. They should do that.
Pokemon
yo,
Dash.
That's got to be a fan
Pokemon
game.
Dash. I don't know if this. Yeah, it technically is kind of a racing game because you use the stylus to basically go through the checkpoints and stuff like that. So it kind of is like a racing game, but it's kind of like a touch race. I don't even know, but I guess that technically
my.
counts.
Hey, they haven't given us that Pokemon rated A game yet.
Oh no,
You guys know what I'm saying? Pokemon for adults.
that is
Bro.
going to be so. You know, I can't. I don't even.
You said
wanna
that's gonna
dive
be
into
like
this.
that's.
I don't want to even dive into that.
They're all
I'm kinda
children.
curious.
They're all children.
I'm not talking about the humans. I'm talking about the Pokemon.
Anchor shot.
All right, so let's move.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on from that.
Oh man, my lungs were about to come out of my mouth. Whew.
So, let's get back on track here. Cisco, do you think we'll see a direct this month, in February, or March? Because it's coming. It's pretty much guaranteed.
I'm leaning very much towards February.
February
I'm
is
leaning much towards February because they I feel like they need to let Fire Emblem rest for a little bit after coming out.
Yeah, it's gonna be about 2 weeks, 3 weeks, maybe after.
But
I'm thinking.
they want to do it, yeah, like kind of hot off its heels at the same time to kind of catch people
yeah,
while they're
I
still
hear you. I hear you.
while they're still on the hype, while they're still in the new game hype. Because you're like, oh my god, this game's amazing. This game's and they show you a bunch of other games. Oh my god, those games all look amazing. You know what I mean?
It's true.
So I actually have my calendar next to me, so this is actually very handy. The Engage is coming out next Friday on the 20th. And so I'm thinking in February, there is the week of Monday the 6th through Friday the 10th of February is I think that week is going to be when the direct's going to hit. Probably on a Tuesday. So probably February 7th on a Tuesday or maybe something in that week, I think.
Yeah, that's actually
3 weeks actually after the release.
I could see that for sure. I could see that for sure. I'm something else though. I'm thinking about, and I don't know if it matters at all though. But I don't know how much it matters if a game is coming out, depending on when they do their directs. Because I can recall plenty of times where even at E3, they have had, was it Splatoon coming out right after it or something? Something was coming out right after. Wasn't it just this? I don't know. I know they've definitely like said, oh, and this game's coming out next week, and just did like a really, really quick thing in a direct before for a game that's coming out in like a week. Even Dread, I think there was a direct out like a week right before Dread came out, and they still gave like another little trailer. So, but yeah, I agree. I still don't think it would be January. So I'm agreeing with you, both of you, because Jake, you probably, it sounds like you feel it's coming in February too.
Yeah.
And something else that, I'm like, well, maybe they're gonna have to show a lot of Tears of the Kingdom stuff. So I don't know how much other stuff they're gonna want to show either, because I would love to see Metroid Prime 4 or the remaster, but probably both. But is it too much if they show off Tears of the Kingdom stuff? Because we know nothing about Tears of the Kingdom. Like, they need to. This game's coming out in May. They need to like start to really go all in on this promotion. And if we get a direct, I could see it heavily being focused around Zelda.
I think so.
I could
think it
see
would be.
the marketing going very hard, very hard. Like after the direct coming, like in February, they're gonna start marketing it really hard. I wouldn't be surprised if it's like every few weeks you get like a teaser trailer or something of like gameplay or some kind of other trailer to really showcase the game a little bit more. Because
Yeah,
I
like
have to
lore
think
drops.
they can't keep this very long after that. After this,
Yeah, I agree with that. They can't stay quiet too much longer. And I am craving some more info, but I'm also in a weird position where I'm like, I don't know if I want to know very much at all anyway. Because partially what made Breath of the Wild so great was they only showed off the Great Plateau. We didn't really see anything else from the rest of the game for the most part. And so when I started playing Breath of the Wild, and Jake, I know you haven't yet, but Cisco, I don't know if this happened to you. I'm on the Great Plateau. I'm like, wow, this game is huge. And then I zoomed out and realized the Great Plateau is just a little 2% of the whole entire map. And I was absolutely blown away. And I'm like, what is this game? I want that feeling again, but I know it's in the same world. So I'm curious to see what they do to the world. And I don't want that to be spoiled to me too much.
Yeah, I think if I'm being completely honest, I kind of had a feeling where like I think they're going to show off some more Tears of the Kingdom, but I don't think they're going to be going quite as hard on the marketing as you guys say. At least not in the way that you guys are saying. I think if anything, we'll probably get like lore drops, bits and pieces about just I mean yeah just the world's greater lore and things that have happened, etc. Because we kind of knew the story of Breath of the Wild before we ever even really played the game. But that's because the premise was pretty simple. And
Which
so
is, yeah,
I
keep
think
going.
I think they'll probably go a bit harder on the story this time around, but I
I
don't
agree.
think I don't think it's going to be anything super crazy. Still, um, yeah, I think the marketing is going to be pretty simplistic, but I think they will use the direct to show off more of the game.
Well, so while I do agree with Drake that they're going to ramp up on the marketing, uh, I don't feel like it's going to be like a new trailer every week, just because it doesn't really seem like the Zelda sort of promotion to me. Doesn't seem like they've ever really done something like that. I think even Breath of the Wild had maybe like 4 real like game trailers. Um, I think what could happen is February comes around, we get a direct. Maybe it I could see the direct starting out with Tears of the Kingdom. Like as soon as the direct opens, it's Tears of the Kingdom, and it's just another itsy bit of information, another little trailer that we've been getting. But after it's over, they say, "Stay tuned after this direct. We're going to be doing a treehouse where they have people playing the game, like maybe in the opening area. They're going to be doing a treehouse, showing off like new game mechanics, like because that's more what I'm curious about. I don't want to know anything about the world. I don't want to really know anything about the story. I just want to know like stuff about like, well, we don't have the Sheikah Slate anymore. Like, how do we use certain items, things like that. And I could actually see them doing it in a treehouse, especially because Tears of the Kingdom has not been at an E3, not even once. We haven't seen like anything, barely anything for the whole entire game.
Yeah.
We know like 4 or 5 minutes of information.
Yeah.
So like something needs to be shown off, something more than just a trailer. I think we need some sort of info on what the mechanics of this game is. Like what what are you doing in this game? What's the point? It needs to make people. It doesn't need to make me buy the game because I'm going to get it, but it needs to win over the people who might have played Breath of the Wild, and that's it.
Yeah.
They might not. Someone who likes Breath of the Wild might not even really care that much because they haven't seen anything. Because Breath of the Wild blew all the other Zelda games out of the water with how much it sold.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a ton of new fans with this game, and they're gonna want to keep those fans interested in the series now that they have them here. They need to show off something. They need to start showing off what you're gonna be doing in this game. So I'm hoping for a treehouse or a dedicated Zelda Direct.
I could see them doing promotions similar to how they did Engage, a lot of social media stuff. Because pretty much everything we know about Engage was shown in that first initial trailer, and then also in videos on their official Twitter.
That's exactly how I was. Actually, that's exactly how I was thinking. I was like, they're probably gonna go the Engage route, where it's just like they show something in the direct, and then everything after that is just gonna be through through social media, and
like
then like Japanese or something is gonna screenshots and all that stuff.
Yeah, 1 minute video showing you.
I could see them doing. I could definitely see them doing something like that too, because I mean they did that. They did it with a ton of games.
Yeah,
they did that with Age of Calamity. They did it with Pokemon. They did that with Dread.
I think they did Splatoon 2 or Splatoon 3.
Yeah, Splatoon 3. Yeah. the biggest difference here is Zelda's in a different league than all of those besides Pokemon, but that's for different reasons. And especially Tears of the Kingdom is in a very, very weird situation to where I almost feel like this game is handled with a little more care. I don't know exactly what I mean by that, but I think what Tears of the Kingdom can do is it's bringing over an audience that Nintendo hasn't always had, and that's the Game Awards audience. Certain people who only play The Last of Us, shooter games, Horizon, more mature titles. Those people have played Breath of the Wild because Breath of the Wild was really, really intriguing, and it looks cool. Like people wanted to play it, and I don't know if just those same people just have Nintendo on social media or follow Nintendo fans on social media to see just Twitter drops. I think Tears of the Kingdom might want to try appeal to a slightly bigger audience than what just core Nintendo fans have here. And that's why I think it needs a treehouse or something. So there's stuff on just YouTube when you go on, just other places that will be posting about it where
some more
those kind of
exposure.
fans will see it. Yeah. But I mean, you guys might be right. They might just think it's Zelda. Breath of the Wild sold amazingly. If this is going to sell too, we don't really have to do too much. They could be thinking that. I hope they're not, but yeah.
It's all a wait and see game, right?
Yeah, I think one of the benefits of it is that it's a very it's a way to get engagements, and it's a way to promote the game. And it is kind of low effort, but at the same point, it's it's also it also grants it like subtlety to allow you to see more of the game, to keep it on the forefront of your mind without showing you like their whole hand. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, as far as Engage is concerned, what we know about it is like, oh, they've got references to maps from old games. We know about like the big gimmick of the game, but outside of that, we don't know too much about like the greater plot. We know
Yeah.
like the villain, I guess, but we don't know much about the greater plot.
I don't even know if we know all that. I mean, I think we kind of do. We kind of do.
You mean for
But
Breath
then
of the
again,
Wild,
we
or
don't
for
know for
Tears of the
sure.
Kingdom?
Yeah, we don't know for sure though. Like
Well,
any of it.
No, I'm saying like this is what we know about Engage.
Oh,
For
okay,
Fire Emblem
okay.
Engage.
Okay.
So like we know like what some of the combat animations look like. And it's like we don't really know a whole lot,
So
but
we
we
mostly
know
know like mechanics and stuff like that, but it's just like, yeah, we don't know like the plot and stuff like that. We got introduced to like every single character that we pretty much could get, I think. Um and there's gameplay now out there, like 15 minutes of game showing off the entire section where you're gonna have like basically your home, where it's like you get all your stuff with like all your shops and sort and the weapons and rings and stuff like that. But then it's like outside of that, like the plot is kind of
Let's tie this back into the
close to that.
direct, and you guys can save Fire Emblem for when I
right.
leave.
So but basically
Yeah.
what I'm getting at is that until recently, like a week or two ago, where they showed off what Jake is talking about,
Yeah.
and since we were basically in the last stretch until the game came out, we didn't know a lot, but they
That's
were
true.
feeding
Yep.
us tiny little things here and there, like things you already knew about Fire Emblem that were different here, to get you
Mhm.
and to keep you excited.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what the strategy was. And I think it worked pretty well. They got pretty good engagements on all of the posts.
I mean,
Absolutely.
I would be pretty excited for that if that's what they're doing with Tears of the Kingdom too. So hopefully they are doing something like that. I just really want to know what the game's kind of really about here. Not even story wise, just more so of like just what you're doing, just what you're doing in the game. But so we're expecting a Nintendo Direct soon. Is there anything else within this Direct you guys are like think is like a guarantee or something you expect to see? I guess I won't say guaranteed, but something you expect to see.
Was it Pikmin announced? So is it maybe Pikmin news?
That's what I was
I
going to say.
think.
Yeah.
I mean,
That'd be-
I'm not like a big person on
great.
Pikmin anyway, but like I'm pretty sure there should be news on that at some point, right? So
I would hope
mean,
so,
Direct's
but
perfect for it.
they're also they've definitely showed off a game and then waited a year before showing it off again before. But
Yeah.
I don't know if they gave a hard release date or even a window for that game. I can't remember.
No, I
But
think
yeah,
it was just like
I would,
one of those opening teaser trailers, but like, yeah, nothing
mm,
concrete after that, I don't think.
Well, just judging off of the Central Leaks rumor, I do kind of feel like there's a good chance we could see the Prime remaster. It's just the only thing that worries me is if they show the Prime remaster, I feel like they also have to show off Prime 4 something or
Mm,
say something about it. The same way that when they showed off Skyward Sword HD, they still had to show some of the Tears of the Kingdom, even though it was not ready yet. Because there's no way they can go to this direct. No way. And show off the remaster and think these Prime fans are going to be happy about it because that's not going to happen.
It'll just be a giant
So
tease.
they need to either say something about it and they need to say something good about it. Like Prime 4 is going well in development. We're not ready to show it off today, but you're going to see something later this year. For now,
Mm,
check out this. If they say that, like you're going to see it later this year, that's all Prime 4 fans need to know.
that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Or they could say like, here's something we've been working on, blah 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 blah. They show off the remaster, and then right at the very end, it's just like maybe a 10 to 30-second, very 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 subtle Prime 4 like CGI trailer, and it just says like maybe like 2024, and that's it.
Hmm.
Like something like that too. They just need some little bit of information, the littlest bit of information about Prime 4 needs to be there if they show off the Prime remaster.
Yeah, I think
Mm.
it's a possibility we see Prime remake. I don't think we're seeing anything about Prime 4. I think they'll make a statement, but I genuinely don't think we're seeing anything. I don't think we're seeing anything until E3.
Yeah,
Oof.
which would be, great. But yeah, I feel like we can't go through the whole thing without some info on it though.
Yeah.
If they show off the remaster, other than that, I don't really know if anything is if I'm expecting anything else. So if you guys aren't expecting anything else either, we can move into this Zelda movie rumor.
Oh,
By
I don't know. So first
Illumination.
off, do you guys believe the rumor?
I don't know. I don't
to
know.
be
I didn't
honest,
believe
I
that.
feel like anything's at the table at this point if they made a Mario movie.
That's
You
that's
know,
kind
and
of how I
Sonic
feel.
and everything. I feel like everything's nowadays.
Oh yeah, for sure. And Zelda's probably more than likely within the next 5 years, Zelda will get a movie because this Mario movie is gonna be insane. It's gonna sell like crazy. It's gonna make them a ton of money. So like a Zelda movie eventually happening is, I think, is a safe bet.
Yeah.
Illumination doing it, while
Wacky
I feel like
animations,
I was
if that's the
I feel
company.
like I was very, very much in the minority when I thought the Illumination doing Mario was something that I thought they could maybe pull off. Wasn't sure, but I was like they might be able to do something with it. Zelda?
Yeah,
I feel a lot weirder about it. I
Yeah.
pretty much.
I, I want to say like if they got to know that what's making the Mario movie go over so well with people is because they're staying pretty true to the Mario game and like the look and the tone. Illumination's so goofy, and Zelda, while it has goofy elements, the overall tone of Zelda is a lot more serious, and I don't know if I think Illumination can pull that off.
Yeah.
Now, I have a couple of thoughts. First off, when I first had the idea of a Zelda movie, 2D animation is where I went immediately. I would much prefer a Zelda movie be 2D. Like again,
Does
we've talked about Studio Ghibli doing it, and that'd be
yeah.
perfect. But there are a few circumstances where I could see 3D. Um, most of those would be nice with something like DreamWorks, not Illumination. But I think if they did something tied into like the something sort of like Link's Awakening or Wind Waker, I think those games have feels that Illumination could very much work with. I know those
Yeah.
aren't the most popular versions of Link, but I think if they went for that sort of feel, then they could definitely make a Zelda movie happen. It just depends on what they think the most true version of Zelda is, you know?
Yeah, I think personally I would want 2D animation as well. That's what I would love to see out of the Zelda movie or a show. I think a show would be cool too, but sounds like this is a movie, obviously with Illumination doing it. The thing about 2D
Are they trying to make
and
a 2D show already?
they made a 2D Mario show. Like that
I
doesn't that was so long ago
could
it
have
doesn't
Yeah,
sworn
that
matter.
they
was
did a
way, way
Zelda
back in
one
the
though.
day.
They did.
Oh yeah,
It's just so long ago it doesn't matter.
yeah.
The thing what I'm saying is I don't feel like to most people that looks and even I agree with it. I think if you put a 2D Zelda movie up that looks like Studio Ghibli did it, which would be awesome.
Hmm.
If you compare that to what the Mario movie's looking like, as much as I would take Zelda over it, but I think to most people, casual viewers and what they're looking at, I would say the Mario movie looks way higher budget, way more higher budget and more of a real movie. I don't think a 2D look would make it would nearly do box office sales like what Illumination
Hmm.
can do. You know what I'm saying? Um, I think it could do well. I definitely think it could do well. I just don't think it can compete with the Illumination art style or like something like DreamWorks or Pixar. You know that kind of
Hmm.
stuff looks like high budget. Whereas 2D, you can make look really, really good. I mean, even I don't watch it, but Demon Slayer looks amazing. And that's probably even not just traditional 2D at all. Yeah, and take Studio Ghibli too, but like those movies don't look to me like these are massive, huge budget movies. And I think that's what Zelda needs.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you're right on in a sense, but the funny thing is that Studio Ghibli actually the reason why Japan also did a lot of the 2D animations was actually because they wanted to cut budgets from doing 3D stuff all the time, and that's kind of how actual anime was actually made. And when you look at the history stuff, and they found that like the biggest thing that anime and 2D stuff does compared to 3D stuff is that the world that you build in 2D can be completely reversed and basically made how you want it compared to 3D. Now, at the time, especially during the 80s and 90s, this was like a revelation that you could do all this with your own imagination. You can make this kind of world, this fantastical world, the way you want it, and have it as with a pretty nice budget, and you don't have to spend like millions upon millions like the 3D movies do. So to a point, I also see like your argument of all they want a 3D movie because it would be a lot more compelling to the audience. It would actually and it would sell more, and a higher budget movie would want to sell more. But I also don't necessarily think that if it is a 2D anime, I don't necessarily think it won't be like a hit, for the audience. It has to be really done well, and it has to be portrayed in a way that where the world can be very connected with the audience. But it is going to be difficult, especially if it's for any company. But Studio Ghibli, I think, has the best chance of making that happen, considering they've done it before. But uh, it's definitely an interesting topic when you talk about 2D versus 3D animation and how movies differ from it. But obviously, it's a lot more compelling, especially for Western audiences, and here in America especially, the 3D is a little bit more compelling for most of the general audience's sake. So
See,
Definitely, yeah.
I see where you guys are coming from. It's just like I think with the perception of anime in general these days, I don't know that I completely agree. I think 3D will I think 3D does edge out 2D as far as general appeal, but I don't think it's that wide a margin anymore.
correct.
Um,
Yeah, that's what I was basically trying to say.
I yeah, I think the margin is a lot smaller.
Yeah,
Um, Internationally, the Demon Slayer movie in 2020 was the highest grossing film of the year.
interesting. I didn't
Now,
even know that.
there wasn't like a whole lot that came out that year, but like it's kind of a it's kind of a crazy thought.
Wow.
I think that excludes Marvel for obvious reasons. um, but I mean, I don't remember what came out in 2020, so I could be wrong. It may even include Marvel, but the amount of money that that Demon Slayer box office was the same as something like, or it was very close to like Kung Fu Panda, and Kung Fu Panda was a hit. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So I do sort of agree, but I think that perception is changed a whole lot. And then, especially when you take a studio like Studio Ghibli, where Spirited Away is the second highest grossing anime film of all time, right behind Demon Slayer, and their sales are pretty similar. Where Spirited Away was sort of the resurgence for 2D animation in
Hmm.
movies because it did so well internationally. So I think it does strongly depend on who does it though. I think
Yeah,
you do need the right
Mm.
studio. I don't see
absolutely.
Illumination doing 2D animation well at all.
No, no, no.
Right.
But yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's all good. That's all good points. And I never I'm not big on movies at all. So I'm just giving my very, very stupid opinion on it. Just because I have no idea what sells for movies and whatnot. I just think to a general audience,
mhm,
when you see a commercial on TV, when you see a like 3D animation, I feel like it screams this is a movie. And when you see 2D, it takes a lot more to win over somebody to say I'm gonna go to the theaters and see this because it looks so much like it looks more in line with like a show.
yeah,
It just looks like a glorified TV show.
I can see
And
that.
I think because of that, that's kind of where I'm coming from with it, is where uh 3D just looks more like it's a movie, and 2D reminds me more of just like this is a show that has 5 seasons and now it's finally getting its movie adaptation.
Yeah,
And with Zelda already being so popular, if there was a 2D one and then combine that with Studio Ghibli, or even I feel like whoever did the Castlevania series could do Zelda,
mhm,
um and that would be, but either way, if something like that, uh, it's already so popular to where yeah, it's still gonna do well because it's Zelda. But I would just want Zelda to also get that same. You know how Nintendo is. If it doesn't perform super well, they're not gonna continue to keep doing it.
mhm.
And I would love for Zelda to be, you know, right up there with Mario, the way it's kind of always been. But um, yeah, I would just be afraid that if they did 2D, which is what I want more, I as a fan would rather have the 2D. But I just want Zelda to sell well and Nintendo to keep doing stuff with Zelda and not letting it die out. And that's
Yeah,
just kind of where I'm coming from with it.
I feel that. I guess it's just last thing I'll say on this is I guess it just sort of depends on how they want to do their marketing. Do they want to appeal to the general public or do they want to maximize their niche? which is pretty big. So I think appealing to the general public, um, it could bring higher reward, but it's a whole lot more risky.
Hmm.
And then you
Yeah,
like
I do
maximizing your
wonder.
niche to where like if you had like if you had Ghibli doing a Zelda movie, then like everybody who's into anime and everybody who's into video games is going to go see that movie,
Hmm.
It's a good
guaranteed.
point. It's a
You
super
know,
good point. Yeah.
whereas like the general public, it's like we could capture them, but this would probably require a whole lot more money, and then we do have to risk losing some of the appeal of our primary audience. You know what I mean?
Right.
Hmm.
So I think it just sort of depends on what their marketing strategy for that would be.
I would lean hard on that strategy that you just mentioned, is focusing on the primary audience of the video games and the anime players, because I mean, or the anime watchers, because I mean that's already a generally large audience, and it's like you said, the Demon Slayer movie got second highest grossing movie in 2020, just behind the 800. So like, I if the Demon Slayer movie can target that kind of audience and have that much of a payout, be I actually wouldn't mind if the Zelda movie is, if done right, if done by a good studio, if done with a good storytelling plan, um, with the marketing, it could really sell well. Like it's not really like a far fetched idea, to be honest.
Yeah. I mean, then it would just fall into what kind of Zelda are they trying to sell?
Yep, that's
Because
Yeah,
exactly my next point.
Zelda
Yeah.
has there's a lot of different ways you can go with Zelda, and I think when you first think of Zelda, you probably think more of the serious tone that it has. Uh, but I mean, like Cisco said earlier, if they did a Wind Waker style or like a Toon Link kind of take on it, it could be a little more goofy, I guess, and get away with it a little more. Um, Actually, I think if they did anything within the child timeline, they could maybe get away with it a little more. Which I don't know what I'd rather see them do. I think if I had it my way and it was gonna be good no matter what, like like whatever I choose, they pull it off and they pull it off right. I actually really think I'd like to see them kind of go with more of the Twilight Princess tone of things, having
I
just a
agree.
really dark kind of story to tell. Um, I'm not
Hardcore agree.
necessarily saying I'm not saying to base it off of Twilight Princess, but just
That
go
vibe.
into the movie with that vibe. Exactly. I think that would be really cool. But right behind that for me, I think of how just gorgeous a Wind Waker movie would look,
Man,
and thinking about how that would look, it's really close to, but they're so drastically different. Both of those games, uh, or at least when it comes to art style and tone, they're very 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 different. And if they're going with Illumination, I 100% want to see them go with more of a Wind Waker, Minish Cap, Spirit Tracks sort of movie. I don't want to see Illumination trying to take on Twilight Princess kind
no,
of kind of movie.
no.
Um,
I'm sorry. I know I said that was going to be the last thing I said, but one more thing, and that's just imagine sitting in the movie theater and hearing the theme of the Great Sea. Just
oh
dun dun
man,
dun dun
yeah,
dun dun.
dude. I don't know.
Dun. Seeing the ocean and dude, that would be so good,
Yeah, it would be. It would be. Man,
man.
Wind Waker. Plus, Wind Waker, in my opinion, has the best Zelda story. I think doing a movie on like a a Hyrule that's flooded,
Hmm.
would be really really cool. Um, But one last thing on this movie, we don't gotta stay on it for too long. It's just something that I've heard others talking about when it comes to this movie, and it is a really good conversation. Does Link talk if they do a movie? And do you want him to talk?
Very
This is
minimal.
how I feel. If it's a child, I think they could much easier pull off a child voice, and it still feel right. There's a world where I think I could watch a Toon Link, a Wind Waker movie, and it has like a younger kid voice. You know, kind of talk, not a ton of dialogue, but still just like has some things to say from time to time and has reactions to things and a personality. If it's like an adult Link, I'm trying to think of what voice in my head do I picture adult Link having. We're looking at this picture of Tears of the Kingdom Link right here, and I don't even know what I would picture coming out of this dude's mouth. I have no idea.
Zelda.
Oh,
Zelda.
Zelda, where are you? Like, I would hate that. I don't want to even hear that.
So we are getting an "excuse me, princess" line.
If there's a movie, they need to do one line of "excuse me, princess," and it could be serious or it could be for the meme, but they need to do it.
Now, I'll say I feel almost the opposite, where like I find myself agreeing with your point, yet at the same time, for a narrative point of view or like a writing point of view, when I think about a character's expression and the way that a character interacts with the world, I think a silent child is allowed to be much more expressive with facial expressions, with their mannerisms. You're exploring the world, and this kid has this curious look on his face. The kid is happy. You can afford to put a giant smile. You can afford to have a child, crying like these really dramatic tears. You can have the child, trip over things and get scared, and you know what I'm saying.
Hmm.
Whereas, like with the
For
adult,
sure.
having that sort of expression is a lot harder without words. And so I feel like the only way they could get away with that is if it was very action oriented. I think they need to do a lot of action for them to get away with a silent adult. Either
Yeah,
that,
and
or he gets carried by, or the story gets literally carried by the world rather than Link himself.
I don't know if I would like this. Maybe I would, but I could definitely picture Zelda having a voice more so, and that's probably because we heard it in Breath of the Wild. But like, what if they kind of took on the world together, and she was more of the vocal one?
I could see that. Okay.
That could be kind of cool. Um, something that I thought about in my mind, and I can't get it out of my head now. What if adult Link's voice in the movie was just like Shadow the Hedgehog's voice?
Not
Oh,
Shadow the
no.
Hedgehog, bro. No.
I gotta get that
No.
damn Triforce, dude. Come on, that'd be awesome.
No,
Where's
thank
that
you.
last damn Triforce piece?
No, bro, I can't. That ain't happening. I'm not doing that. No, thank you.
Man, one thing for sure is
No,
this
thank
Mario
you.
movie's looking like it's gonna be pretty good, and they can't have an amazing Mario movie and then have a Zelda movie flop. It's gonna be
Yeah.
my last words on it. I can't believe we've gone for an hour with an episode we weren't sure of what we were really going to talk about. If you guys want to talk about Fire Emblem, be my guest.
Look, we can save that for another day. We can do it right before the game comes out that week for a little bit, and then we can give our thoughts the week after the game's out. As far as I'm concerned, we can do that later. It's already been an hour.
All right, so next Tuesday
Yeah.
I will not be on the pod, so you guys can carry this next week, unless there's some crazy news that comes out. If something
Direct
happens
comes
before
out
that,
next week.
the direct, yeah. If they announce a direct on that Tuesday, I'll be on here that night getting hyped.
That'd
For
be
you guys.
so funny.
That would.
Um,
That would.
I might stay here the whole entire time, just getting hyped.
Look, I don't
But
have a whole lot to say about Fire Emblem myself, to be completely honest. So like for me, that could be a 15-minute segment, and that could be about it.
Yeah, but then
I
when
don't-
I'm gonna interject,
I mean, you'll be carry. I'm going to tell you how that conversation is going to go. You're going to probably give a well balanced analysis, and I'm going to tell you I'm not excited.
I could.
and I'm gonna give you some reasons why you could be excited.
And then I'm
He's
going to
still
tell
gonna
you
tell.
I'm not
He's gonna
excited.
tell you he's still not excited.
God damn it, stubborn as
Yeah,
always.
so like I'm the hype for this game for me is just not there. It's just not there.
With the game
I'm-
that's shown off so much in Cisco, you still paying attention to it, and I see how much is posted in the Discord all the time from you, Jake, and so it's clear to see you're more excited about it. But like, if you have to take Cisco and say these are the reasons you should be excited for it, there's something wrong there. So it's already. I'm not saying it's gonna be bad. I'm just saying like. I don't even think he's being stubborn. I just think there's something going on to where this one is not clicking with him so far, and maybe that could change when he plays it. But for now, that's just kind of
So
kinda where it's
so
at.
obviously I know the reasons why, and you explained
first
this
off.
last week.
Hey, no. We're gonna end the stream here because I gotta go to the bathroom. You guys can keep going. Peace out.